It was March of this year when cherry farmers first learned the USDA was planning to buy tart cherries. This additional $15 million purchase means the USDA is now going to be buying $30 million worth of tart cherries, including ones grown right here in northern Michigan. Welcome to Wixom Lake. It's looked like this since last year, but that could be changing very soon. And that's got people who live here ecstatic. Another major part of the Know It Before You Throw It campaign is education, so people know just what items can get recycled. That way, things like milk cartons and aluminum cans don't end up here in the garbage. Here in Kalkaska County, it costs them about $300,000 a mile to take their roads from looking like this to looking more like this. Right now, craft brewers pay $3.50 per barrel on the first 60,000 barrels of beer they produce. If this tax cut expires, that tax gets a whole lot frothier and goes up to $7 a barrel. Were there times that your sons were alone in the sacristy with Jim Holtz?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's not always another adult.
Joni told me her sons were with Holtz in the sacristy. At the same time, they lost their father. Here are the verdicts read just moments ago in Grand Rapids on counts 1 and 2. The jury is hung. Those are the soliciting of a bribe and extortion charges. On count 3, lying to the FBI, the one verdict the jury was able to come to an agreement on. They have found Larry Inman not guilty of lying to the FBI. That verdict read just moments ago, the judge declaring a mistrial on the other 2 counts, the soliciting a bribe and the extortion count. You'll remember those were the counts the jury had questions on. We are starting to run out of adjectives to describe how cold it is, to describe the weather, and to describe the conditions of the roads. So we're just going to show them to you. Take a look at what Mitchell Street looks like right now in downtown Cadillac. We have seen dozens of snowplows out so far today. They're trying to keep up with this, but the snow just keeps coming down. We are in the Lakewood on the Green neighborhood just outside of Cadillac, one of the hardest hit areas, not just in Wexford County, but across northern Michigan. And just about every home had a scene like this, one tree after another that these powerful winds took out.
We watched them. They fell down just like dominoes.
A drive through the Lakewood on the Green neighborhood gives you a sense of just how severe the storm damage is. Nearly every home in this neighborhood has trees down or uprooted.
The thunder and lightning started, and winds started to blow, and then it started to pour.
Cindy Elridge had more than 24 trees down in her yard.
So today it's cleanup. We got our driveway cleared off so we can get our cars out.
I figured it was somebody that worked for us and they had a different plan for that night.
It was just after 8:30 last night when William Walraven saw this. One of their company's dump trucks being chased by deputies through Harrison. Deputies say the woman behind the wheel stole it after they tried to arrest her on probation charges.
I was sitting there at the gas station getting fuel and said I heard the cop cars coming, and I looked and here comes our 1-ton with 4 cop cars and a DNR truck behind it. So I hurried up, got on the phone, and called my dad to ask him who's got our 1-ton. Well, said it should have been locked in the fence.
The chase was called off about 15 minutes later here on East Stockwell Road. Things were getting dusty and hard to see, and deputies didn't want to risk anyone getting hurt.
The officers made the right decision by calling off the pursuit. It's not worth life and limb there if it gets to the point where it's that bad, so we'll catch up with them later.
Deputies eventually found the truck off a 2-track, and this is what it looked like. The woman they were looking for was nowhere to be found.
It's definitely a tough time for us.
We met Ty Heyman as he prepared for another shift inside the air traffic control tower at Cherry Capital Airport, keeping planes and passengers taking off and arriving safe. It's a job that's had an added layer of stress in recent weeks.
It's extremely stressful. It weighs on the controllers' minds day in, day out, at home, at work. That's all I'm hearing at work is, about the shutdown.
Ty is one of thousands of air traffic controllers across the country who've been working without pay since the partial government shutdown started nearly a month ago.
My nose is just above water right now. If I miss another paycheck, it's going to be very detrimental to me. Talking with some of my other fellow controllers, They're pretty much in the same shoes as I am.
Heyman says that's causing morale inside the tower to slip, and he worries about the long-term effects both on his co-workers and on safety in the air. This is what cabin owners on Houghton Lake's North Shore are now facing off against. A massive wall of ice that's come right up to the edge of some cabins, and in other cases, gone right into them.
Mother Nature has her way. There's no stopping it once it starts coming.
It's a battle that Jim Scart's Houghton Lake cabin just couldn't win. As ice inched closer to shore, it eventually took over his cabin's front porch.
When I saw the picture, it was like, oh crap. We just put sliding glass doors in 2 years ago and fixed the cabin up a lot, and now the ice got it.
Jim bought the cabin in 1994. He's seen plenty of springs bring piles of ice, but he says those piles have never ended up in his cabin.
We're here to honor a brother that's come home that we lost in 1950.
Good to see you, precious.
In a spot that is so often the place of emotional farewells and hello, Cherry Capital Airport became the scene today of a return home that's taken decades.
Today is his homecoming from 1950.
Army Corporal Charles Lawler's remains were among those recently turned over to the United States from the North Korean government.
President Trump went to Korea for a summit, and the North Korean leader handed over 55 remains of servicemen. They were able to determine that one of them was Corporal Charles Lawler.
There's still over 7,000 American military personnel unaccounted for, and we just brought one home.
There to welcome Corporal Lawler, generations of servicemen and women, including Calvin Murphy, who is still waiting to learn what happened to a fighting buddy from Vietnam.
Arthur Wright from Lansing, Michigan was captured February 21st, 1967, and we do not know his fate to this day. So to be here at something like this, as many as I can, for the ones that are coming home, I will be there.
These are moments rarely seen in our country, but it is impossible not to sense and see the unbreakable bond that is shared among those who served, a bond that endures across all time.
It's an honor to honor one of our brothers that's coming home. We always live by the motto, leave no man behind. As long as we can stand or be pushed in a wheelchair or what, we will be here.
My grandma and grandpa always had a great something for us to do.
It was August 1974, and Tina Alera was spending another summer at her grandparents' cottage on Old Mission Peninsula.
My grandpa said, hey, let's send out a message in a bottle. So it was actually a vodka bottle, and my grandma let them dry really good, and we wrote our letters.
Tina released her message into Grand Traverse Bay, and the memories of that message slowly faded until another message reached Tina. Only this one was on Facebook.
And there was this picture. Oh my gosh, I was so stunned.
That message came from a man named Eric Amon, who had found Tina's message in a bottle while doing construction for a home out on Old Mission.
Literally, I think I screamed right out loud, ah, my letter! You know?
Eric met up with Tina, reuniting her with her letter yesterday, 45 years after she wrote it.
Wow. Oh, and just to think that my grandparents were there watching me write it.
While her letter asks for a response, the one she got was almost as unexpected as the discovery itself.
Hello to whomever finds this bottle. I threw it out in front of the lighthouse on the Old Mission Peninsula. I was staying at my grandpa's cottage, supposed to be cottage, by the lighthouse. Please write and tell me where and when you found this message from Tina Green. Isn't that just so cool?
And Tina says, keep your eye out. Her brother's message in a bottle is still out there. Now, as we stick with those live images coming out of Parkland, Florida, this is just north of Miami, and those images you are looking at on your screen right now, we believe could be the suspect that police have been looking for, getting ready to be loaded into a patrol car. The reports are that it was a male shooter who started shooting in this building around 2:30 this afternoon. The local affiliate there in Miami, our CBS affiliate, reporting the suspect possibly in custody, and that is the image we believe we are looking at right now. This is being called a mass casualty incident. Now, reports are that there are at least 20 people who have been hurt. And earlier reports were saying the shooter was still at large, but now we believe that shooter could be in custody, possibly a former student. And this school just north of Miami. Parents right now being told to stay away from the scene, so certainly an emotional time for everyone in Florida and across the country. I want to read some tweets from President Trump. He says, "My prayers and condolences to the families of the victims of this terrible Florida shooting. No child, teacher, or anyone else should ever feel unsafe in an American school." And another tweet just from 3 minutes ago, just spoke to Governor Rick Scott. "We are working closely with law enforcement on the terrible Florida school shooting." President Trump weighing in on that. The White House also expected to make a statement on this school shooting. This is at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida. Those live images, possibly the suspect in custody. Right off the top at 5, the search for this missing 2-year-old in Oscoda County is now over. Gabriella Vitale has been found alive and well. State police, deputies, and volunteers combined to search for Gabriella, who went missing around 8 Monday, and found her more than 27 hours later. And after being found alive, Gabriella was taken to Munson Healthcare Grayling Hospital to be checked out after 27 hours alone in the Oscoda County woods. 9 and 10's Xavier Hershevitz is live outside the hospital to begin our team coverage tonight. Xavier, you just spoke to Gabriella's father, and how's she doing tonight? Just an absolutely marvelous effort by everyone to find Gabriella in Oscoda County. Everyone there, including us, so thankful that she is safe and with her family tonight. Right off the top at 5, a strong warning from law enforcement as the Lake Michigan shoreline is starting to get hit hard with some strong waves. It comes as we just learned the search has been suspended for a missing man off the shore. Brian Herman went missing off the coast of Ludington State Park yesterday afternoon while in the water with his wife and kids. That is right here at the mouth of the Big Sauble River. We have some developing news right now at 5 we want to get to. State police are out searching for a man in Missaukee County that is on the run after they say he violated his parole. Troopers say a Missaukee County deputy found a vehicle associated with Les Robinson in a field off Sealy Road near the county line. Take a good look at your screen. This is the man they are looking for. Again, that's Les Robinson. State police say he also may be with a woman. They say to lock your cars and your homes as a precaution. There is also a canine unit in the area. And we have just learned a daycare near Sealy Road is on lockdown as a precaution. Now, back in 2016, we told you state police arrested Robinson after being on the run for several months. At that time, he was wanted for running a meth lab, assaulting a police officer, and other crimes. Gabriella Galloway is on her way to the scene, and she will bring you a live report in our second half hour. Continuing coverage now on this northern Michigan lawmaker facing federal charges. State Representative Larry Inman has been removed from the House Republican caucus. Representative Inman was indicted last week on charges of bribery, attempted extortion, and lying to the FBI. The indictment accuses Inman of asking unions for money in exchange for a no vote on repealing Michigan's prevailing wage law. The indictment says he did that through text messages. Inman was elected to represent the 104th District in 2014 and has been reelected twice since then. Michigan House Speaker Lee Chatfield has called on Inman to resign. And Michigan Republican Party Chair Laura Cox released this statement today saying, quote, "Republicans are committed to honest government, which puts the needs of the people first. I applaud the Michigan House Republican Caucus for removing Larry Inman, who is accused of violating this trust," end quote.